G'day, doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, episode 26. It's round 21, getting to the business end, and good to see a fair few of you here already, which is fan-bloody-tastic. We'll get stuck into it soon. Going to try and wrap this up in about an hour tonight. See how I go. Last time I said that, I was here for 3 hours. So we'll see how we go, people. Any Dragon support? Bring the tissues. That's right. Oh, they haven't. For a 50-50 call, which is what you would say live, pretty amazing how much drama's been around it. You know, when they're howlers, yeah. But for a 50-50 to be talked about like it was a howler, like, get over it. G'day all. G'day, Lucas. D's put together some stats for us, people. Scrolling along the bottom at the moment is just stuff about the game day on Sunday for those that are going, the activation zone, and all that sort of stuff. It's all on the website anyway, but it's there if you want to have a look. So we've got D, Elaine, welcome. It was first here. Timmy, Lucas, Zreg's in. Oh, and our good mate Brian's here. Welcome, Brian. Hope you're having a good day, mate. Thanks for coming again. And David Hatt, welcome. So when we get to 20 people, we'll start cranking it up. I might put the teams across the bottom there for us. And we'll do this stats pretty soon. Here we go, 20 people. We're here. And welcome, guests on. Might walk me dog tonight, mate, and give you a call. We'll walk together, only about 1,000 kilometres apart. Anyway, if any people are playing at home and I'm in the Thornside area, I'll be walking late at night. Apparently it's a bad thing to do when you're a podcaster, tell people where you're going to be. But anyway, I probably won't do it anyway, but I want to. It's been raining today, any excuse. But let's get into it, people. I'm expecting the coach selections from the 17 on Tuesday that's been named to cause a little bit of, I don't know, angst. I think a lot of people are going to make some comments about Jethro Renakama being put to 19th man and an Ari Chihuahua put out to the left edge. But I've said this, when Cherry comes back, that's most likely what the coach will do. But you never know, there might be a change late and Cherry might not be 100%. I think they've named him because he's like, I'm playing, mate, you know. But this is a big game. And look, I don't care how Manly have been going. They're on 3 on the trot. They beat the Storm, which that's in Melbourne, which is never easy. And they have picked a side which scares the hell out of me, to be honest. Matchups all over the field are just cutthroat. We might go through that. We'll get the teams up in a second. G'day, Timmy. And g'day, Scotty Warren. I won't skip you, brother. Harry Hayes, who played very well last week. I didn't probably elaborate on that enough in the review. Added a lot of energy off the fence. But let's get this these two teams side by side. We'll get it up on the screen. Bulldogs, Seagulls. I'll just make my head smaller. And here we go. This is the team. Tracy Carraz. So we've got Connor Tracy at the back. Le'i Hopewade, who, you know, we put a lot of pressure on him in that semi-final last year. He was playing wing. And he's still come up with some massive plays. He is an absolute star. And we're going to have to get our game on, get our kicks deep, and reduce their ability to have any sort of return run meters, which has been part of our game plan all year. And they'll be expecting that. And a lot of the work they do will be to try and mitigate our ability to do that. Connor Tracy has been wonderful and one who's just getting all the return contact meters through the way that we defend on the most part. Perez versus Saab. Jason Saab, he has some moments in his game. We know that. But he has moments in his game which are absolutely devastating. Decides, can take intercepts, can climb high, can finish, just needs that little bit of room. His speed is scary, and Carraz will be there on the other side. Because, although I think Saab's usually on the right edge, isn't he? I don't know. I can't tell anymore. I think he's normally right edge. Ruben Garrick, there was some, the NRL physio was saying Garrick might have had some sort of injury that they're looking at. So we've got Bronson Cherry. He'll be left centre. And he'll be going up against probably Tommy Travojevic on the right with Garrick, which will be a massive deal. And him and Anari Tuala are going to have to do a really good job. They can't be passive. They're going to have to make sure they get up and smash those players and, no like half breaks, nothing like that. And both those Ruben Garrick's one of the most underrated players in the competition. Look, I'm not just going to sit here and rap Manly for the sake of it. This is a good team. And when you got a side which has got four fullbacks in it, players that are competent at fullback, they're always dangerous. And we've probably got a side which has got 2 or 3 competent fullbacks in it. So there you go. Luke Brooks, always dangerous. Matty Burton's probably our most influential player through his contribution. Looking at the rugby league eye test, which is stuff I like to look at. This guy, Matty Burton, with the way he kicks in his running game, very, very important to us. Missed a tackle last week, which put our team under a lot of pressure. It was in the first half. And if we're missing tackles out there on this left edge, and that's the thing, see, everyone's been going at our right edge, but because we brought 2 new guys in, Dragons had a crack and did all right and got a couple of tries down it. So Lockie Galvin on the right edge. Now he's out there. He rushed up on Kyle Flanagan, which was probably the wrong play. He sort of hesitated, then went. If he goes, he's got to go straight up. But I think he just needs to hold the line and all come up quickly together. They need to be connected when they do that. Rarely misses tackles, but he's not hitting with the shoulder the same way. I said that. And I reckon that costs us on average between about 7 and 10 meters per set. Like for some sets, it was costing us like 20 meters, but over the whole game, about 7 meters per set, more than what we normally concede. And that's through teams attacking our edge. And I think they're going to do that, Manly. And that's where they'll look to make a lot of ground using their speed. They'll pump up the middle, get it wide as quickly as they can, try to play football either side just to make ground, and then try to put us under pressure with competing kicks through the ground that they can make. And that's how they beat us in that game, second last round last year. Roll through the middle, play football, play tight, use their strengths, and put us under pressure. And we were the ones who made the mistakes, and they punished us 34-22 in the end. Everyone said their wheels had fallen off. We were missing players that game, and we'd already qualified at least for top 6. We ended up finishing, I think 6th ahead of them. And then that semi-final, I felt that we had the edge in the overall forward battle for the majority of the game. They didn't roll through us when it counted in the final. Maxi King, Reed Matthew Lodge in the side. He's been going all right in New South Wales Cup. Got into the first grade side a bit. Jazz Tavega is an energetic, really strong defender. Sia Takiaho. Now, he was nearly going to be at the Dogs. He's showing his worth, but he's not getting paid as much as what the Dogs were apparently offering. But he's showing his worth for that side, Manly, and he's playing well, and he's still there. So no injury. And funnily enough, the Dogs let him train at the New South Wales, at Belmore to help him get rehabilitated. So, we're all about NRL and promoting the game, obviously. Samuel Hughes had an absolute blinder in New South Wales Cup. To see him stepping off the left and the right from his own 45-metre, crossing over the halfway run, busting through the line using his footwork, and then linking up with second rower Logan Spinks to run 40 metres and score untouched. He was offloading. He was having an absolute ball against the Manly New South Wales Cup side last week. And that was just, to me, that just showed how this club has reset. These guys down in New South Wales Cup, it's very unlikely they're going to make the finals. There's a big divide between the top. Like Roosters are in sixth. You have to make the top 5, and they're 3 points ahead of us. So we're playing them this week. If we beat them, we bridge it down to 1, but then we've got to make up like another 3 points. If we win every game, we can do it, but we've got to play some of the best teams in the comp on the run home. But for me, there's a lot of players there who want to play finals, that know NRL's in finals. Some of them know that they've got to get contracts with other clubs next year, or, they're fighting for extensions from our club. So it was great to see how well they played, including Blake Wilson, Curtis Moran, Saluka Fafita, Toby Sexton, and Mitchell Woods had an absolute blinder as well. Cassius Tia, one of his best performances in ages. Good bounce back from the week before, and very, very happy with the way they all went. Now, Kikau versus Homoli Olakau'atu. I don't think... Let's get Homoli up there. I know I'm not looking at your comments at the moment, guys, but I'm just doing my thing at the moment. 113 kgs and 196 centimetres. And what is Kikau? 116 and 195 centimetres. So Homoli 1 centimetre taller. Kikau weighs about 3 kilos more. But I reckon that's debatable on both sides. Kikau a bit older. Let's look at their stats. So we've got Kikau this year, 14 games, 4 tries, 3 line breaks, 6 line break assists, 35 offloads at 92% tackle efficiency. He's averaging 105 metres a game. We'll compare those stats with his Bulldogs overall. He's now up to 54% of 1 games. He scored 10 tries. So his meters are almost what they were at Penrith. He was at 107, 105 for us this year, which means that he's doing well. Tackle efficiency a bit lower because obviously works way more harder at the Dogs. Wasn't just a role player here. He's a leader. He's doing a lot more. He's playing a lot more minutes. Line breaking and stuff like that. It's all very, very similar. So there you go. Probably scored a few more tries overall for the Panthers. But look, I want to have a look at, because look, Homoli Olakau'atu, in my opinion, has outperformed Kikau every time I've seen him play the last few times. So he's also had 14 games this year. He scored 5 tries, 6 line breaks, 3 line break assists. So it's reversed. So he's more the damage doer, whereas Kikau has set up more tries. He's more the ball player. Offload's only 12. Kikau's got 38. Still, I think Kikau run first, pass later. And he averages 142 metres. But that also comes down to the fact he's making more runs. in a game is utilised more as a focal point of their attack is Homali. And he's also, he's not offloading, he's not passing as much. So they play differently. But Kicks has got a big job on this guy because he is so influential to their side. And I think everybody knows it. Let's get that sorted. So Maxi King, obviously, he's our big leader, averaging over 140 metres this year, which is fantastic. Reed Marnie looking to continue to impress and drive it home for us. Jacob Preston on Ben Trebojevic, very similar type players. Presto's got him covered, but Ben Trebojevic is an absolute competitor. And obviously you got Jake there and Jamin Salmon. So from a opening segment point of view, they have got the size across their forward pack. But our pack's not that small in comparison. Samuel Hughes is probably 109 kilos or something like that. 111. He's not small. And you've got Takiyaho. He weighs 108. So we might even have him for size in that regard. Maxi King dropped down to about 105 this year. That 1 kilo less has meant that little bit of extra speed across the park. Probably not as injured as he was as well. And then you got Matthew Lodge. What's this big fella weigh? 117. So he's a big boy. But I wouldn't Max King every day of the week as far as I'm concerned. And Jake Trebojevic, how many minutes is he going to play before he needs a break? He's still taking it to the line, copping it in the back. I think they will look to go both sides of the ruck here. And their bench, Bullimore can play prop. Corey's plays on an edge. Sipley always causes a bit of damage when he plays us. Very big boy with footwork. Ethan Bullimore goes full on when he comes on, and Jake Simpkin is doing quite well in that utility role. Our bench, this is pretty much our bench. Like this bench here is, apart from Satilia, this has been our bench most of the year. Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes, Josh Curran, and Bailey Haywood. Rennie Karma at 19, Saluka Fafita, Blake Wilson, Curtis Moran, and Toby Sexton there, ready if we get an injury to one of the halves. Tommy Talau on there extended with Clayton Faololo, who's a really good talent. Navale, Joey Walsh is a really talented half, had some good moments last week, and Gordon Chan Kum Tong. And Anthony Seibold, or the Manly Seagulls, have a 3-1 lead over Cameron Serraldo from the 4 matches that Serraldo has coached against Manly. Team stats, nothing between them, 23 to Manly, 21 to us. 3 of our last 6 matches against Manly have been decided by 2 points. They've won the last 4 against us. They're on a 3-game winning run. In our last 6 matches, we've won by, they've basically been under 4 points or less, or 6 points, under 6 points, winning or losing. So there you go. Their defense isn't too bad, Manly, compared to a lot of others. They've got they're plus 60. Similar average play the ball speed and 50% at the venue. So 2 very evenly matched sides, any which way you look at it. Across the park, what it comes down to is the Bulldog style going to threaten Manly. And are the Bulldogs going to call upon, the spirit of the 1995 team? He'll be there in droves, hoping that we go out there and do a 1995 final series on the Manly Seagulls. Should be a cracking game, says Lucas. Let's get to your questions. Evening, old fella Dave. Welcome. Connor's so underrated, says Scotty. Do you think Cherry will play? I'm not sure. IQ 100. Is Bronson Cherry back? He's named in the side. Lucas, New South Wales Cup would have been great to watch live. I watched it on Bar TV. It was awesome. G'day, Lakeside. Welcome. Weird thing happened to me the other day. I cut myself and blue and white blood came out. Good to see Bronson's back and late to roll call. Sorry, mate. But Manly's 13 plus. Well, you are late to the roll call. And look, let's talk about these scenarios, guys, because if we lose this game, what's it mean, people? What does it mean? Welcome the clutch. Up the dogs, Mikey. Gio, welcome. This game isn't do or die for the Bulldogs. I know a lot of fans, I know the media have got everything set up, ready, okay? The reason I talk about the media is so you understand the noise is our fan base. Only our fan base can disrupt our club. So this is what they're going to say. People, we had the Touchline podcast on the weekend after we just won. Go live and say our season's over. So this is the problem with the outrage casts that want to, as I say, I love people. I love everyone who loves the Bulldogs, right? At the end of the day, whether we don't get along, don't agree. But it just shows how what people will trade for clicks and views. This whole spectre that, you've got to be on the Galvin train or you're not on the Galvin train. I'm just on the club's train. And I know the club will do some things that aren't right. And I know some players out there will have a bad attitude at some point. And some players might deserve or look more worthy or more suited to our team but don't get picked. The noise that comes means nothing. All that matters is the performance. Now, people said that our performance last week, and I'm happy to hear what you guys have got to say about it, was atrocious and stuff like that. I didn't find it atrocious at all. I can see by watching the game and focusing on our defence that we worked just as hard, but we had, because of their combination, some of our defence on the edges was a little bit passive or wasn't as punchy or as good as it's been, right? Dragons, through doing that, got a little bit better field position. So I felt players like Blake Laurie had an absolute wonderful game. Always seems to rise for the Bulldogs. There's a bunch of their forwards who really kept it powering through. They had everything to play for in that game. They could not lose that match, and they lost it. Right? They had to win it, and they couldn't win it. And they had, 90% possession. They couldn't win it. We were under the pump, and we couldn't even get the ball in the second half. They were talking about our attack in the second half. We didn't get to build pressure. The Touchline podcast guys going on about, he made a comparison between Toby's season stats and Lachlan Galvin's stats for the game against St. George. One game versus a whole season. Like, these are the type of people that, I'm not telling you not to watch these. Go support them. I think they're funny a lot of the time. But their comments saying our season's over, well, we might not win another game. I'm still much happier than I was fucking 5 years ago, as disappointing as it would be. So the point I'm saying is that our overall performance, just because they scored 3 tries or 2 tries in that second half and hit the front, like, it's 2 tries. They had all the possession. They scored 2 tries. That's what happens. We had a couple of errors. There was a couple of 50-50s that went against us. Now, they stayed down for every fucking thing that happened. They got themselves 2 extra bloody HIAs, category 2s. Come on, and both players that come back on played really well, surprisingly, eh? The point I'm making is that we didn't have anything really go right. We hardly got to do any attack. And then a couple of times when we got there, we just made mistakes. It wasn't through lackadaisical shit. Our team sets things up, you know, they do different things. Like, did Critter bust through, get some early ball? Funnily enough, Galvin said that in his interview. Couldn't wait to play with Critter, give him some early ball and then trail him through and hopefully score a try. That's exactly what happened. Amazing. Preempted it, predicted it. And it wasn't that early. It wasn't like Sexton threw in the Canberra game where he cut out 4 players to get it to Critter, who then just said, let's go, boys. Like, that game against Canberra was some of the best attack I'd ever fucking seen. And Toby was involved in a lot of that too. So I don't think our attack's that bad. I just think in that moment, Toby's looking to run, probably just runs the ball, gets a quick play the ball away, or he passes to Burton, or he goes crabbing back and looking for Critter. I think at that moment, he's like, I've got to find the person who's going to win the game for us, rather than I'm going to win the game for us. And I think that's the only difference in their play. We've dipped a little bit in our defence, which is going to get better and better each week. So what do I expect from this team this week? It's from to go out there, work their ass off, go to battle, do everything they can to win. And if they fall short, it'll be because there's a few little deficiencies in our combinations. A couple of players might get exposed. So what? Won't change anything to do with whether we're going to win finals or not win finals, whether we win or lose this match. Obviously, you get a lot more confidence. Obviously, it's a really important day. We've got a special jersey, which we tend to do well in those games. If you have a look at our history, whenever we use a special jersey, we go well. Not so much our Indigenous jersey stuff, but more so like, you know, when they did the Star Wars one, they did the, what is it, the bloody, some website thing that they did, some online like blockchain website thing. I can't remember. Our 2004 Heritage jersey, the Berries Heritage one that we used, and also so hopefully this one will be the same as well, and we'll have a good win. But if we don't, for me, it's just the performance, right? It's just the performance. I want to see Sam Hughes go out there and have a really strong 20 minutes. And then the next men's up, come in and add energy like they always have. I felt Galvin and Mann struggled a little bit. I felt that got a bit clunky at times in the game, whereas, you know, we scored 2 tries where it's a salmon just engaging the line, giving it to Galvin getting it to whoever he's got to get it to, and we score. 2 tries with that involvement. When Mann was on, it was a little bit more disjointed. I'm not saying that's his fault or anything. I'm just saying that's where those two are going to form some better combination there. But you're going to get that. We've got to expect this stuff. You know, this is about our long-term future. I know it, and all. Look, it just doesn't. This 360 stuff that they're going on about, people. They said that Critter's been out of form. What they're referencing there is Origin, because he and Latrell were essentially outworked and out-influenced by Shibasaki and Toya, who had some own poor moments in both in that third game, but they had some really good moments as well. And you would say that they've helped their team win, for sure. But Critter's contribution last week was huge. Like, he nearly ran 200 metres. Like, Critter has been injured since round 1. I don't think people understand that. He got injured in that game against the Dragons, and he's carried that injury ever since. He'll never talk about it. They never complain about it. He had a leg injury, and he's still got that neck problem that he hurt from last year, which has hurt him at different times. So you'll see that one of the centres in a lot of our games has sort of been less involved as far as the work rate, and then did their thing, to help out occasionally or play their part in attack and all that sort of stuff. But as far as being the hard work and yardage bloke, they've swapped that around a few times, and they've carried injuries, both of them, at different points. So this is part and parcel of what we're dealing with. But they're coming out and saying Critter has been off the boil the last few weeks, or last 4 weeks. And then they pointed out, because Jesse McLean nearly got around him in the Penrith game where they scored no tries. Yeah. The fact is, he didn't get past him. He still got him. Didn't miss the tackle. So this sort of stuff, it's just noise. But they say this stuff because they want to make headlines and they want fans to focus on it and go, yeah, Critter's stats are shit. They're crap. It's the fans who are the only ones that control this narrative. They'll just give you the bait. You take the hook. They'll wave it out there, and people take it hook, line, and sinker. The salmon stuff. That's a lot of people putting shit on Salmon again. His 2 games back. He's going to be even better for the run yet again. Sam Hughes should be getting close now. Maxi King took a while to get into the game on the weekend, but he kept going. But isn't it funny? But someone said Max King's a bit off the boil. You know why they said that? Because in the first run of the game, he got pushed back. Outside of that, he was outstanding. Outside of that one run where he got pushed back. It's funny how one moment changes a person's narrative. What was the narrative that going to be before Galvin throws that pass and we score in the corner and win the game? It was all going to be negative, the whole lot. The whole lot. Oh, Toby Sexton. As I said, my honest opinion is if we might have conceded one less try and never been headed by the Dragons if we had Toby in the team. But does that help us when we need to win a game? When there's nothing between the sides and you're calling on someone to win the match for you? And look, Galvin might be in that situation, throw that pass and the winger drops it in a grand final. Or he throws it and it's called forward. Or he doesn't throw it and he runs. Loses the ball. That's going to happen too, guys. Hopefully not in a grand final. But hopefully that'll be in a regular season game. That's not too important. We're going to see the yin and the yang of it all. Be prepared. But doesn't mean we have to slaughter our players over it. G'day, TM. Timmy. Let's hope the boys bring the same grit when we played the Panthers. That's what I'm hoping for, mate. I'm hoping to see a 1995 aggression. Dean Pay, Jim Dimmick, Jason Smith, Simon Gillies, Mitch Newton, Darren Britt, Jason Heverington. Fucking bring it. Sorry for swearing. That's the shit I want. Jared McCracken. Fucking used to love saying his name. I just want to see it. Psycho. Jacob Preston. He was psycho in that semi-final. I loved it. The animal come out. We've seen this good bloke who just tries hard every game, but he looked like pumped. He looked angry. And I swear he was just leading our pack that day. And it's funny because Max King stepped up another level this year. I want Max to now find that mongrel in him. I really do. Against this side this week. I want it so bad, guys. I want to beat this team so bad. That's what I want. The balance. What are we looking at over the rest of this season? I just want to see an improved performance. and one where we, look, and you can have an improved performance and lose by 15 points, 16 points. You can. You might have 2 or 3 bad moments, a bit of bad luck, some kicks. We drop the ball. I'm going to back Anari Tuala this week to do well, to keep improvement. Some of his yardage runs have been good. I felt that he's been pretty good defensively. People are saying he's a snail. Well, Jethro Renakama was a snail compared to Terrell Sloan when he had to chase him. The atmosphere of this week's game will be like a finals game. Great test for our boys to keep lifting and developing our combinations. 100%. That's it. That's what we've got to do. Like Terrell Call, I've got to say Bulldogs have been fantastic this year. I watch every game of every round and always happy when the Dogs get up. But I love Manly as much as you fellas love the Dogs. Good luck for the finals. Thank you, champion. You're absolute gentleman and a scholar, and there's not many of us left. As an old fella used to say to me all the time. Yeah. Manly went to Melbourne. Just nearly beating the Storm would have given them confidence. Add Hamoli Olakawatu to that team. Bill Kickow needs to win that battle, or at least get parity on it. The best way to beat Hamoli, it puts a big dent in Manly when you get on top of him, when you silence him, keep him out of the game. And we can do that. But they've beat us in our last 4 matches. We need to turn this around now. We need to tick this box. The time is now. But if not, we just keep pushing forward. Forget the narratives. Forget what they say. It's all bullshit. Okay? People want to beat their chest about anyone and everything. We told you we were better with 6. Why would you destroy our... Well, no. This is their season, not our season. This is their season. They're the ones out there doing it. They've got a really good culture. They're together. And they have to prove it to each other every day. And they've shown us that. They hardly had the ball in that second half. They conceded 2 tries. And they got the win. There's belief in our club. 20-0 down against the Raiders. We win. 14-6 down against the Roosters at halftime. We win. Okay? Games where we've been so much better than the opposition. They've nearly come back, got within 4 points, 6 points of us. We win. Except for the Broncos game. Panthers, different game altogether. Against the Broncos, we played 4 halves against them. We won 2, they won 2. We just got to make sure that the halves they win are a lot closer. That's all. Dolphins, can't really rate that game. Except they've got the edge on us now. We need to turn that around if we play them. We're in some teams' heads. And we are a hard, bloody team to beat, people. A very hard team to beat. And that's the main thing. That is the main thing. You have to be hard to beat in this competition. So for Dan Canone, who's a Bulldog supporter, just like Dobbo in Brisbane's a Bulldog supporter, a lot of Bulldog supporters in the media, people, right? They don't sort of let on, but they are. They get very critical. They're as pessimistic as a lot of our fan base are, expecting the wheels to fall off. Well, our team, what did he say? We've beaten no one. I disagree. We've beaten more teams than anyone expected us expected us to beat. They weren't no one. We've beaten teams that have had every chance to win matches against us, who played well against us and lost. But we're still yet to put together an 80-minute performance of absolute execution. And I still don't think we're close to that yet. Hopefully it starts this week. But I'm expecting by that first final that we play, we will be getting close to that. Timmy, I'm on the doggies train all the way. 17-10 victory over Manly. How about 17-4? Bragging rights in my extended family. My cousins follow Manly. Oh, well, they're not real cousins then. I thought I'd make a quick mention of Desi Hasler in the sheds after the game against the Tigers. He told the players to get out of the shower. It was somewhat funny. Your thoughts? Oh, it's just wouldn't be talked about if there wasn't a camera in there, bro. It is funny, but obviously they lost, so frustrations are high. It's normal. Be a little bit of tension, which comes through, and when you have to, give someone a direction to get out of a shower, it's going to come across frustrated probably. Maybe someone went off kilter with the things that the itinerary on what they were supposed to do after the game. Who knows? It is funny, but who cares? Ashley Klein is the referee. What have I made of his performances recently? It doesn't matter what you make of Ashley Klein's performances, Timmy. He refs the game at completely by feel, changes week to week. It's not consistent. I've never seen a referee have so many momentum swings in games over such a long period of his career. I think he's getting to a point where it's just so obvious now. I don't think he favours one team over the other, but he's not afraid to call what he thinks he's got to call. But yeah, I used to say I felt he was corrupt years ago. I don't think that's true, but it just looked weird a lot of the time, G'day, Jay Pizzle. Welcome again. And g'day, JB. No worries, brother. I'm well, mate. How are you? Oh, here's Cyborg. Who's this lad? Manly by 30. Do you like me picture in the back? Let's have a look at this again. I'll stop presenting. You like me Cherry Evans picture and Seabold asleep? Terry's drinking the wine. You like that, boys? I like it. Do you like that, Cyborg? You still here, mate? Or you just come to troll? All right. Timmy, good evening, JD. Beautiful, Timmy. My boss is a Manly supporter. It'd be good to get the win. You'll definitely have bragging rights with Lucas. Gus was saying the Wars are the toughest team to beat according to the players. Laugh out loud. Gus playing the Dogs down like he does. Sayed, welcome. No, thanks for coming, brother. But I think the boys will turn up this game like it's a finals game to redeem themselves from last year's game. Well, that's it, mate. Look, I don't think they let anyone down last year. I still watch that game, and I'm like, I've said this a few times this year, but I still watch that game like I'm enjoying it until the shit happens. Like it might change. You mentioned Kickow. Who else are you looking to have a big game this week? I'll get to that in a sec. Definitely Burton needs to step up. Look, I felt Burton let Galvin do some things last week. 23 passes for Burton. I think we probably should have a look at that, to be honest. Let's have a look at it. What do you reckon? We'll go to round 20. We'll go to team player stats. And let's focus on Matty Burton. So he had 7 runs for 64 metres. Most of those runs were the first half, by the way. 30 post contact in 64 metres is pretty good. Played the ball speed pretty good. Ran from dummy once. Only 23 passes, 43 receipt. Got the ball 43 times. Passed on 23, something like that. Galvin 65 passes. Marnie 77. Jamin 22. Hayward 22. So Connor 21. So basically, between your fullback, your 5'8", and your 2 small ball playing locks in Salmon and Hayward. Oh, sorry, Hayward played a bit of hooker, didn't he? He came on and played hooker, so I'll take him out. Kurt Mann only 10. So look, Salmon and Burton basically playing like halves. But let's go back and have a look at some of the other games that Burton's played. The week before when it was against the Cowboys. Just to give you an idea. Hopefully I don't look stupid in this. Because I haven't double checked what I was doing. But Matty Burton, 17 runs against the Cowboys, big meters. Only 42 post contact. They handled him well. Line break assist, try assist, 2 tackle breaks. Only 24 passes, Sexton 53. A lot more possession for the Dogs in that second half, obviously. Hayward 20. And there you go. Different games. So pretty similar. More running, less passing. Penrith. Sorry, people. I need to have a look at this stuff. Try and prove a point. So he's getting a lot of ball, but running quite a fair bit. Player stats. Matty Burton, 12 runs, 134 metres. Quick play the balls, 32 passes in that match from less receipts. 90 for Toby. Wow. Oh, that's right. Toby went to hooker after playing half, which we have to look at as well. Hayward 26, Galvin 19 when he come on. So, look, Matty's just not been doing as much organising is what I'm trying to basically say as he was doing. It's been more in the hands of the halves, of the 7, I should say. He didn't play in that match against Souths. He played against the Eels. We'll look at that, and that'll be the last one we look at. Matty Burton had a good game. 16 runs, 186 metres. So his metres this year much bigger than last year. 52 passes. See, he's gradually pulled back on his halfback work or his halves work. So over that origin period, Toby took on way more. Galvin come in all over it when he's on the field. And Matty taking a bit of a step back as far as that goes. But that still leaves us with the ability to make things happen, to change things up. So obviously, Matty Burton's got to have a big game. We need everyone to have a good game. Galvin needs to be solid. But for me, it's the defence again. Our defence we've been leaking, 2.5 tries a game since the Parramatta game. So 2.5 tries per game, whereas Panthers are under 2 or only 2. So they've got their game back on. They're at about 11 points a game at the moment. And we're at about, 17 or something. I think we really need to see a big performance from, I said Villiamy Kikau. We want Stephen Crichton to have a lot of influence on this game as well. Reid Marnie's been, in my opinion, the man of the match in the last 2 games that we've played. Obviously, Connor Tracy. Jacob Carraz has been great for us as well. We're going to need those offloads. If Bronson Cherry plays, look, everyone's going to have stand up. I find I'm very team focused when I look at things. The point I made with Villiamy is that I've just noticed in that battle, in that matchup, he struggled with Homoli quite often. Really important for the likes of Samuel Hughes, but in our spine, just to keep doing the good job they've been doing. Reed's been wonderful. So has Connor Tracy. They've been supreme the last few weeks. I think Manly will be trying to get some competitive ball against Connor and get Ruben and Saab up there chasing him. They'll try and isolate him. I think Homoli will be coming for him. They'll be trying to get that yardage through the middle. I think they'll throw some offloads as well and look to break us open. So it's imperative that we hold our line, but it's also imperative that we turn that team around. I think the kicking game is so important in this match, as it always is, but turning those big boys around, but making sure that everyone's on ball with what they're doing. They keep that Bulldogs wall across the field and limit the offloads. Yeah. Let's have a look at the team stats. Comparatively speaking, what have we got there? You can see all that. Bulldogs still lead possession. Why is only average 52.8? Seagulls, second with possession stat. Set completion, though. They also complete high at 81%. Dogs down at 78.8. Supports Manly at 50. Dogs at 60. Line engagements, Manly 17.9. Bulldogs 16.5. Line breaks, Manly 5.5. Very, very dangerous. Dogs down at 4.7. Post contact, Manly 562. Dogs 556. So Manly statistically are doing very, very well. Their tackle breaks 28.5. We're slightly better. Decoys, they're likely to have a lot more than us. They're number 1, 60.4 per match. So 35 a match for us. So statistically, this Seabolt's got this side doing a lot of things right. you'd think they would have won a lot more games, wouldn't you? Bulldogs have all run meters, averaging 1756 per game. Seagulls 1721. I think we're getting a lot more out of our back three. That's a big key to our success. Dogs 196 a match. Seagulls 192. Kick return 194 to their 174. Dummy half. Dogs only 6.5, Manly 6.2. So not big from dummy half both sides. I think when Simpkin comes on, he's a bit more dangerous than that. I'd like to see a bit of that from the Dogs though. Offloads. Dogs steadily increasing their amount, 10.4. Manly 7.3. Haven't chanced their arm as much. Do they do that against the Dogs this week? Try assists. Dogs 3.4. Manly 3.4. Line break assists. They're getting 4.2. Dogs down at 3.5. 460 for the Seagulls, 458. So, look, they're right up there, Manly, statistically across the board, doing a pretty good job. Missed tackles, Manly only 29.9, Dogs 33.2. Kick meters, they're 4 meters up on us. Daly Cherry Evans has got one this year. We haven't got a 40-20 this year, actually. Errors. We're making 10.7 to their 10.3. Ineffective tackles, we're one of the worst in that, 17.8. Manly down at 14.4, which is a good result. And we concede more penalties than any other side with 6.2, even though we have a lot of possession. Handling errors. Dogs, one of the best with only 8.5. Seagulls with 9. So there are your stats and your comparison head-to-head. Timmy says, I just felt Burton was quiet in the second half. I definitely feel our kicking game will need to be better than Manly's. JD, we do need to improve, but the carry on is driving me nuts. Melbourne lose and it's just a glitch in the matrix. We lose and we're not contenders. We've done nothing. That's it. Let them have it, brother. Let them have it. Andy Sage. Reed and Billy need to take their game up to the next level. I think it'll help. Andy. Welcome, Loss. Sorry, bro, not sold on Swallow. I keep thinking back to the Broncos game where he gave up on kick-outs, knock on, and Staggs collected it to run halfway down the field. Oh, Loss, man. Mate, this is where you and I always get a bit frustrated, man. How many games had he played in that Broncos game? Before that Broncos game, how many games did he play this season with the Bulldogs team? Players lose concentration all the time, especially when fatigue hits, especially when they're not fit. You got to learn the big picture, is what I'm saying. And I'll be condescending. I don't give a fuck. You got to learn the big picture, man. Sometimes think before we type. Honestly. Not sold on Tuala. I don't think anyone's sold. I wasn't sold on Tuala before he come to the team. I can give you my private thoughts all I want. All right? What I'm giving is a fair and balanced analysis on it. I said that he would likely be the left winger. Now, there's still a chance Jethro they might say, look, we're going to run with Jethro. Sorry, Anari. But I felt he's been quite solid. Every run he's had more grunt. He's an experienced player. He's been around for way longer than people realise. And he looks fit and raring to go. Now, he might miss a tackle. He might have a misread. It's not a reason to go and lambast the guy publicly, even if that's a word, and tear him to shreds and tell everyone, I told you so. We should have had someone else. So this is a shit. This is why I do my podcast, because of all these people who do this to our team. Now, I know you're just giving me an opinion, you're not sold on him. It wasn't that bad, man, and I know I'm going a bit hard. But it's just a common fucking theme. It's just a common theme. We see a player that's probably the weakest link, potentially. It's the same shit that Montoya's copped from most of the people in our club, in our fan base. They had no context around his injuries. It's like that Lachlan Croker. He's a better bloody hooker than Jazz Tavega. But he's just come back from a long-term injury and his fitness isn't right, which is making it harder for him to do his job. We've got to get an Ari Tuala fit and ready to go. And they see something in him, and I do too, actually. You've got to get value from everyone. I felt that he's provided value. And I don't think he let us down at all. At all, in any game. I don't think he's let us down. And if he has one lack of concentration at the start of one game under fatigue, so what? But this is what I was saying before. People were saying Max King's gone off the boil. He played 2 games before. He played 2 games in the week against the Cowboys. And then he plays and gets dominated in the first run of the match against the Dragons. It's the only slide on his whole performance. Outside of that, he was outstanding. And I felt he was good the week before too, in a side in backing up after playing, Origin 3 days earlier. But people see one thing and they make an opinion out of it and they go comment about it. It's like, okay, cool. But give me context. Show me how it's a consistent theme. And if it's a consistent team, it's like Montoya rushing in off his wing. Yeah, but it happens when our middle's dominated and we can't control the ruck. It happened when we're down to 12 men against the Broncos. It happened. We're making a comeback. He's buggered. Look, I don't think Montoya's that good in the rain. It's a bit heavy-footed. Knocks the ball on when we're trying to score at the end. I think twice. I just defend these players because they're in the team. If they're named and they play, it's because they're the best suited player, the most trusted player, the most suited player to the team from the club. It's all speculation. Anything else? What coulda, shoulda, woulda didn't happen. We all do it. But I think Anari Tuala has earned the right to keep his spot. And going back to that Renakama's first try, I felt the way he drew him past for us to get that try against the Cowboys was first class. Some said it was forward. It was just a replica of what Critter's been doing. Look, he may not be the fastest. He may get caught out. There might be a misread. There may be some big lessons in this match. Who knows? But if the club's going to trust him to go out there, I'm going to back him. If he has a bad game, he has a bad game. It always happens. The last thing we need is I told you so. On all things Bulldogs, and Ari Tuala's got family who's joined our group. Right? So let's just applaud him, support him. Say it on your own wall, which I think you do. Timmy, are you surprised that Renakama wasn't retained on the wing? Do you feel he got found out times last week in the win over the Drakes? I think Renakama will always get found out when other teams, just like Carraz gets found out. This is another thing too. Like I see some of our best players make poor decisions and have bad things happen, but no one says a thing about it, ever. No one says it. It's like and some people don't even realise that they don't say it, is the main thing. We have players that are really good and contribute a lot who fuck things up on a week-to-week basis. And they know they do it too. Whether it's a misread, whether it's coming off the wing, whether it's not turning and chasing quick enough, whether it's just being beaten by their opposite number, one-on-one. They just weren't as good on a couple of moments. Jumped, knocking on the ball more often than not. Whatever it is, some of our favourite players are contributing to our loss sometimes when we lose. And they never get picked on. And I don't think they should either. What I'm saying is it's the team wins and the team fails. And, talking about a moment, if only we didn't knock that ball on, or if only, we didn't give that penalty away. But it's always the same people in our club, in our team that get targeted all the time. It's Reed. It's Salmon. It'll be Tuala. It'll be Galvin. And our Galvin supporters will target Sexton because people feel they've got to be one or the other. Look, a lot of people, some people get stuck in a kick out. Phil Tuala has been slowly improving each week since Elevate from New South Wales. He has slowly improved. Look, when he was named, I was like, I feel he needs to improve a lot more. But as I said, when you're playing in New South Wales Cup and they're chopping and changing the team all the time, and they're not winning the ruck, or they're getting tired, or the connection's not there, which makes fatigue hit the team even more. The edges and the wingers and people just get exposed, and roll-ons happen. And next thing you know it, you're getting flogged by 30. And people are like, he's not doing too well. His wing play was shit, or, you put them in a better side and you realise, they're not that far off. Now, there's the other thing too. People like Mitch Woods has got to come in now. Look at what he did with his chip and chase, which is fantastic. Loved it. But is he trusted to tackle Hamali Olakau'atu right now? Can he do that? When he can do that, one-on-one, and put his shoulder into him and knock him over, good luck. That's when he's ready. G'day, Scary. Welcome. Tuala and Inikama were marked up against Sloan and Sully last week, but I believe they held their own for the majority of last week's game. Yeah, I think they did. Moses Sully is a beast. He was given $1 million contract by West Tigers when he was, 18? And then Des got him, and then he didn't come to train, and so Des sacked him. He's got talent, that kid. He's always been good. So, all right, let's go for some stats, guys. I've got some more stats for you. Let's have a look at it. Reid Marnie scored 3 tries in the last 4 games against Manly. At least one forward has scored against Manly in our last 5 games. The margin of victory has been no more than 2 points in 3 of our last 6 matches against Manly. The no pride jersey wearing Manly Sea Eagles. Cam Serrato has a 1-3 coaching record against Manly for us. Manly have won the last 4 clashes against the team that beat them and smashed them in the 1995 grand final. Our largest regular season crowd was round, I think, 26 last year. 35,502. And our largest ever crowd was in the semi-final against Manly, where we lost by 2 points, 50,714. We've scored 22 points or more in our last 3 losses against Manly. And we're undefeated as a team with Lachlan Galvin in the number 7 jumper. David, has the reserve grade team been announced yet? Yes, let's bring that up, brother. G'day, Michael. Welcome again, mate. How do you go about stopping someone like Hamoli when he has a stinker himself, then Seagulls go downhill? So I guess forcing errors from him. Yeah, and it's probably a good time to do it. Sometimes he tries too hard. Look, that game where I think against Newcastle, he scores the try, snaps his shoulder. It then goes up to the bunker. It's then disallowed. And then the opposition roll over him in the second half. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Or it might have been another team, but whoever it was, I think they ended up losing after leading, and he was part of that. Look, I've seen games where he's just been an absolute monster and all over, and then the second half you don't see him. Like it happens a bit. He's a huge story, a massive story, this guy, and he's a really good player. And he'll be freshened. He likes playing the Dogs. He likes coming up against Viliami Kikau. Sees it as a big challenge, But Bill Kikau, he's been around and he's not scared. He knows he's got the challenge. I just think it's the major matchup. Bill wins that matchup. Gets his shoulder into him, gets him down, no missed tackles. But see, what Manly will try and do is force Bill in field like a lot of teams do, getting caught up, and then get Hamoli running at Burton. All right, with Tommy on his outside and Garrick on his outside as well. And when that's happening, or it could be Saab or Garrick, I'm not fucking sure. That'll be Saab, I think. I think he's right edge. But Garrick's played a lot of right centre, so it does me head in. So I don't know which side they're playing. But either way, that's how they'll try and do it. Viliami's going to go out there, he's going to tackle his ass off. He's going to be working that inside out. Pushing, forcing Manly to think twice about going that way. So they'll be trying to get him enticed and interested in certain types of plays, which takes him out of play, sort of. And that's a lot of teams try and do that. But our right edge is the one that's been conceding. That's where they go, look, Presto's an animal. He grips on, but there's sometimes there's a bit of a little cohesion issue on that right edge. And it's no doubt because Presto's had a lot of time out this season on that edge. So we've had different combos on that edge often. You had Critter missing through all of Origin. We've had players swap over during the Origin period from the left to the right. Toby's been a consistent presence there, and now Lockie Galvin's going to be there. And they'll be running, what's his name? The other Trebojevic at Presto and Galvin. And Torukola will be out there on the left. Very, very fast, as we know. They've just got strike everywhere. But and what scares me the most is that fullback, because he just seems so a bit like Will Hopewadi, but he seems to be faster and just as level-headed, just as skillful. Nothing worries him at all. Nothing worries him. So they scare the hell out of me, this team. The largest crowd apart from the finals last year was the Para game with 40 to 45. This year, it's been 65, isn't it? Well, Mick, hope you're well, son. Love your work. I love you too, Big Roo. Because I'm mad, Mick. Good evening, Michael. Love to see you on, brother. Would love to see a Statistical clash as well. Mick is very good at pointing things out that will go a long way towards victory. We had a large crowd of the Good Friday game earlier. Yep. Hopefully the scoreline is 17-4 like the 95 grand final in our favour, I'll add. I'm predicting to sell out for this clash on Sunday. I hope it is. $20 tickets, guys, for the people who normally sit in the kettle or in the kennel and stuff. Had that up before. Was Bar wearing number 7 in 95 grand final? Can't remember. Maybe. I think Jimmy Dimmick was number 6. Maybe. I reckon Galvin to kick the field goal. Oh, yeah, bro. It's only an opinion on my behalf. We're still defending our team regardless. He has a pretty solid game tonight. Scored on us that time they gave us a hiding. Cheers, brother. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Look, I'm fired up, guys. I'm fired up for this match. More than anyone can realise. You probably do realise it because you probably feel exactly the same as I do. Who's marking up on Cherry Evans? Have to watch out for his backflips. Having to kick the... That's hilarious. Having to kick the field goal in the 75th minute to silence the haters. Well, look, the Galvin narrative, it's not going to go away until we, I think, make a prelim. So we'll have to win a final. And then they might just leave it. They'll leave it there. But there'll be some who hold on to it. Sexton would have got him to a prelim. And who's to say he wouldn't have got him to a grand final? What about Connor Tracy? Burton's going to force him out of fullback. Brave. Oh, Andrew Macca, welcome. Say something nasty, Macca, and I'll go all Nicolas Cage on you. Just for you, mate. Just for you. Let's get the outrage happening. Come on, I want to get hundreds of thousands of views. That's outrage. We'll outrage everywhere. Fuck me. Honestly. The I told you so outrage casts where there's no consequence for them to be just like the fucking media and go, you know, oh, well, I guess I was wrong. But the club didn't listen to me. I said a lot about this kid, but he's turned me around. It's easy to do that, see. You know what they want to do? Sit there and dramatise the pessimism. Now, I know I've sat there and given Manly a pretty big rap tonight, but I look at their team as a matchup player for player, and I'm telling you, I think where we've got them is in the hooker position, but Jazz DeVega, or Tavanga, or whatever we want to call him, is a really gritty, fucking hard-working performer who's not going to take a backward step. Now, how do we get under his skin? We need people like Max King and Sam Hughes to really put their fucking shoulder into him when he's got a tackle, to stick the boot into him, into his ribs when they're getting up, to be a fucking Bulldogs, right? Not just grub play for the sake of it, like strategic grub play, which is there in every game, right? Get into those ribs. This is what we want to see. I want to see Dean Pay reincarnated in this match. I really do. Who's going to do it? Who's going to be Dean Pay? Because whilst Dean, in the end, didn't give a fuck once he went to Parramatta, which is true, he did care when he came back to the Dogs. And I felt it. And Dean Pay, I felt, could coach. But in that grand final, in that semi-final series, he was sensational. We don't win it without him. I'm telling you. Wouldn't have got past St. George. Wouldn't have got past Canberra. We might have, because I felt they're a bit directionless without Stewart. Broncos didn't know what the fuck hit them. Never been destroyed physically like that in a very long time. And then we got to Manly with some of the hard-ass fucking Ian Roberts, David Gillespie, Mark Carroll. You know what I'm fucking talking about? The biggest, hardest, toughest fuckers to ever play the game. Dean Pay, Darren Britt, just as tough. Jim Dimmick, Jason Smith, Simon Gillies, Jason Heverington. Absolutely crunched the fuck out of them. But you know who was the toughest guy on the field that day? The year before he got knocked out, Paul Osborne played his first game of the year. St. George player went to the Raiders, running down the right-hand edge. 8 minutes in, we're under the pump. Terry Lamb gets his knocked out in that game, and he's a passenger for the rest of it. In the 1995 grand final, the reason I got this fella here drinking piss is because how fucking tough he was. He could hardly train. His knees were fucked. He got them all to the pub. They all made a commitment to each other. You watch Jimmy Dimmick talking about how they came together after being a really disconnected group, especially with the shit going on with Super League, which caused a fraction. You know? Imagine that, half your team's fucking leaving. And it happened to Canterbury before, and Lamb had been through it before, which was another thing, with a whole heap of Bulldogs moving to the Western Suburbs Magpies after 88 and 89. So when you got this guy, Terry Lamb, and he's still at your club, he's still going around visiting people, he's shaking everybody's hand and he can see him. You go and watch that 95 grand final. Now, he could hardly kick a ball fucking 30 metres, Terry. No one ever talks about that. But he still kicked them. He chased. Anytime we made a break, he was the first fucker there. You wouldn't even see him. Next minute, he's there to get the ball. His support play, no one was better than him at it. Brett Kenny's the only one I've seen who gets close to him. And still not talked about enough. Like, people just say, oh, he was a great support player. Nah, he was the fucking best. Right? Take your Bulldogs glasses off. You go find a better one. You won't. It's funny. I reckon Kyle Flanagan's a really good support player. Don't tell anyone I said that. He's got a head for football. He's just in the wrong era. Too slow. Too skinny. Terry, much quicker. Quicker between the ears. Fucking hard as nails. Tough. But he smashed everyone he tackled that day. And you talk about the greatest halves in this competition, it's their fucking defence. If Andrew Johns doesn't get front rows and dump them on their ass the way he did, he's not an immortal. Right? Yet everyone wears this fucking lens, and I'm sorry for swearing, but I'm going to keep fucking doing it. Everyone wears this lens about attack. Fuck the attack, everyone. It's the defence. The reason the Dragons got to us last week, because our defence has suffered a little bit in this reset, which was always going to happen. But when I look at Matt Burton and people say Matt Burton's got to step up, it's in his defence. No more missed tackles. He's got to go out and fucking level blokes. He's got to annihilate people. Right? He's got to smash Cherry Evans and give him a bit of fucking, a little bit extra. He's a laid-back character, right? But this is what we've got to see. It's 30 years since two of the toughest packs of all fucking time. People talk about the Dogs of War under Warren Ryan. Yeah. Tunk's done. Brian Batiste at some point. Gillespie, Langmack, Folks, Joe Thomas. You know? Although he wasn't really there. He was under Phil Gould. But Mark Bugden. Yes, they were absolutely outstanding and the toughest. But that 95 pack, I've never seen a bunch of animals like it in that series to this day. And that's what I want channeled in this team. You know, they're going to catch and they're going to grab because they have to, and they're going to drive back. And that takes a lot of effort. 4-man in. But I want to see Max King. I want to see Burton. All these players which are sort of this laid-back way about them. I want to see the aggression go up while they keep their heads. No head highs. And absolutely smash these Manly fuckers. Starting with people like Matthew Lodge, the biggest bloke on the field. Jazz Taviga, just making him so frustrated he wants to bite someone. You know, that's the sort of shit I want to see from this Bulldog side. And if they do all that and lose the game, okay. They're not good enough to win, okay. But I want them to go out there and be the toughest team I've ever fucking seen in a long, long time. And, mate, they're the best defensive side. They concede less meters than any other side from where the first play of the ball happens. They are a tough team. They're a disciplined team from that point of view. Most penalised team, having the most possession, which is meaning that the percentage of penalties is actually even higher per opposition set that they have. Our penalties are even higher. Right? Disciplined but tough, and I want to fucking see it. I'll go on and on and on and on and on about it till I get it. Oh, fella Dave, still the best Rockfield impression around. What's that surfing movie that Nicolas Cage is in? It's called The Surfer. And I'm telling you, go watch it. And then come talk to me, Timmy. And yeah, Julian McMahon's actually in it. He just passed away, which is really sad. Massive game, this one. I'll be there, so we should win. You better be there, Michael. Were you at the Dragons game? I'm pretty sure you must have been. We won. You thought it was Buzz Lucas. If I wasn't at the Dragons game, Gavin wouldn't have done that pass. And Jeffro wouldn't have caught it if you weren't there. Go all Con Air, brother. I like that Nicolas Cage movie. Every home game I've been at, we've won. G'day, Tony. I'll be heading to this match too. Can't bloody wait. Revenge time. Good to see you, brother, and thanks for being a member. Every game I've watched live with Renakama, he has scored. Mate, let's get these stats happening. Hopefully it'll be like every time I've seen Renakama in a grand final, we've scored. He scored and we won. Me too. Cronulla Sharks right before the semi-finals in 2016 lost 4 games in a row in August, and then the Storm smashed them in the final round. Let's all calm down. The entire season is worth looking at as a whole. Remember 2014? Oh, Dogs will be fodder. We beat Manly 15-14 in the prelim to make a grand final that we were gritty as hell in. Lost our hooker. It was leaving the club. And, had to defend our line a lot. They got away with it. 20 minutes to go. But we made the grand final. Made the grand final in 98. With a team of no-names, really. Gavin Lester. Willie Tillett. No one knew who Willie Tillett was then. There's no one. All fresh. Robert Ralph. Good reserve grader. See his pass to Rod Silver. 100% Macca. we win, hopefully there's a trophy of some sorts, and we carry Lamb on our shoulders with a bottle. Oh, you can't pick Terry up, mate. I reckon he would add. He's probably got some replacement knees. My knees are stuffed too. I just got my MRI back. When I was playing basketball, after not doing nothing for ages, smashed the cartilage lining. It's all floating around in there. All broke off, which isn't good. It's going to have an operation. And Connor Tracy's a brilliant fullback in my books. Manly will get frustrated and be suffocated with our defence. Hoping that, buddy. Hoping that. But they got the tools, man. They got the tools. Every week, these boys are looking at improvements and building on combos. The insanity from club supporters to throw the season away after not smashing another NRL side by 50, for fuck's sake. Yeah. I feel like I might even play it. That's what I might start doing, playing other people's pods, showing them their outrage, and they're attacking the club. Like, honestly, if you ever see these guys, fucking give them a follow, give them a like, give them a subscribe, whatever. Give them the support. If they start saying shit like that, bring them in the line. They're only young. They're young. They think they know everything like I did too. They're in this age of, just letting it all out. Like, I don't blame them. Probably no accountability to what they do and say. Now, I remember after that, we lost to Newcastle and they were running around the Lees Club with the microphone, trying to get big. This is their dream. They want to do it. I fucking love it. Hope they're them. Hopefully I get to fucking, watch them have their own TV show one day. I don't give a fuck. But run around with a microphone to get the outrage. To get the outrage. Let's go get the outrage. Fuck that. I've just swore at my TV enough. I'm switching the fucker off and I'm going to go and do something else. This is what I mean. Before the game, we had comments come on the preview and stuff from a few people, and I know we talked about it. It was like, because so many of us Dogs fans sharing that border with the Dragons as well. You've got all these clubs which are so closely connected with rivalry, and the fans, you got similar, demographics of people and that sort of stuff, multiculturalism, whatever, from the area, and just so much history going back a long, long way. And, the Dragons, just as the pretty boys of the competition for 11 years, where they didn't have to, give the ball back once they scored, No 5 unlimited tackles. Just keep possession and score. So, and that's just carried through this rivalry. So beating these teams, and there's a lot of rivalry with Manly fans as well, because Bulldogs, Manly, Parramatta, Balmain, St George. Okay, those 5 teams through every country town. Multiple supporters, multiple. Then you'd have a couple of. There would always be South fans as well. So those 6 sides. A couple of Roosters supporters, and you wouldn't pay them much. Be lucky to find a Bears supporter or a Maggie supporter or a fucking Shark supporter or a Penrith supporter. But those other 6 teams, just rivalry all through New South Wales, all through Queensland. Queensland, everyone had a New South Wales team as well as a Queensland team. Right? Back in the day, I had a Queensland team as well. I used to go for Winner Manly and South Slogan. Why? Because I saw, Origin and stuff. And I learned, and I went, oh, this is on the ABC. But those rivalries are there. So it's important for us to, we want to go out there and smash those Dragons. But these motherfuckers are like, oh, we were diabolical. And I'm sorry, but Galvin, that was a great pass. And yes, he's got the potential, but our season's derailed, and Toby would have done that. Any halfback would have done that. I don't know. If Sean Johnson and Cooper Cronk don't get too fucking excited over nothing. I know it's their job to get excited about certain things and to promote the heroes and the villains, the good and the bad. You know, the pleasure and the outrage. But they were pretty fucking impressed, and it looked pretty genuine to me. You know, he did the right play. He took on the moment. You know, these fuckers who got to interview Phil Gould, which should have been the greatest moment of their fucking life, come out there and basically say that he's fucked our whole season. Just completely diminishing everything he's done. Now, yes, he can get things right. And yes, he can get things wrong too. And yes, they can have an opinion. But after we just won, trying to get an influence an audience in this division, which is driven only by us. I know all these outside fans think they own the Lachlan Galvin sentiment, and it's just complete haze over the glaze with the banter, like all these fucking words they use. But what's actually happening here? You're actually influencing people not to just share your opinion, but to actually back it. And look, they know how the algorithm works. They know if they say something which is people are divided on, it's going to draw people to it. And everyone's going to have a different thing. I don't run that way. People say something I don't like, I've actually go in depth to give them an alternate view as respectfully as I can. Because I'm trying to understand what they're saying, but also trying to let them know what I'm saying to see if, okay, maybe things aren't that bad. There's 6 games after this one. There's 6 or 7 games to go, right? We just got to keep playing, keep working. We've qualified for the finals. Win them all. Bloody brilliant. Win one game. Oh, it'll make you worry a bit. You'll feel stressed about it. We probably won't make the 4 if we only win one game. Doesn't mean we can't go out there and do well in the semi-final. All right? Means nothing. Historical stats are great, and I love them. But at the end of the day, people make history all the time. All the time. It'll be a tough game, and all I want is the boys to play their heart out, win or lose. That's it, Michael. The halfback for us in 95 grand final was Craig Polamatta. That's right. I forgot about Polly. How could I forget about Polly? God, he was good. Another one just played 100 miles an hour, tried his heart out. Copped a lot of criticism at different points too. I remember when they were constantly deciding whether he was a Queenslander or a New South Welshman. But I don't think he ever got picked. But he was always talking about getting picked for one of the sides. But they weren't sure who he was supposed to play for. I remember it would come up as a story about 5 times, I swear. Dean Pay was 95 kilos on Lamb, was sin bin, and he was still blessed on the ground. That's it, mate. They're the days, Roscoe. You're loving it, aren't you? Work like a dog and we'll be back. Everyone keeps saying how they don't want to play Canberra in Canberra or Storm down in Melbourne. Well, I'd just as much hate to come up against the Dogs. Tell me, which team has smashed us for 80 minutes? Forget about the scores with the Dolphins and the Broncos, right? Scoreboards tell you nothing. We've been hard to beat over 80 minutes in every single game this year. Yep, Dolphins got away with it. You know, Kurt Donahue got his nose smashed. flattened. But they were, they won. Jakey Avarillo. I feel like asking Gus this. I'd be like, out of all the players that you've let go, excluding Josh Adokar, who would you, if you had to take one player back, who would you bring back? I'd love to find out what his answer is on that. Probably say Paul Alamotti or hopefully Jake Avarillo. I'd love to see Jake back, but I still don't know where I'd put him. Fullback? Macca, the Twitter legend himself. He's more than a Twitter legend, brother. We're on the warpath. All week leading up to 95 grand final, Liam kept repeating defence, defence, defence. We will win and there will be an investigation. Do you reckon some of our blokes have softened up a bit in defence because of these long suspensions earlier? Prior to that first Broncos game, we were solid. Then Sutton come along and ruined the party. Oh, I think you could definitely consider that as a thing. But I find that there's been just as many head highs. They just haven't been reported. I think our defence is... Look at Origin in the first Origin match. Queensland tried to do what the Bulldogs do. And it didn't work. They got better at it in Game 2. Game 3, they also got better at it, but they used their shoulder. New South Wales Game 1, shoulder. Bang, get them down, then drive them back. The Dogs aren't... That's why I like having Daniel Saluka for feeder out there. That's why, when it's the vision test, when you're just looking at things and you go, seeing his shoulder connect with an opposition player and watching them get flattened out, I don't see enough of that from the Dogs. And it's been but at the same time, what I usually see is good contact, catch, hold up, drive back. Set line, opposition gets up, plays ball, 2 defenders there, usually in the ruck, most of the time, under control. For them to do anything, they really have to get some sort of late offload away when we're trying to reset and got our backs turned and they get a late offload is pretty much what does something to us. But for the most part, we're very strategic and systematic how we go about it. And there's no selfish plays out there too often where they're just going for the big one-on-one shoulder hit, trying to smash someone from the side, because the element of risk in probably not only just in a head contact or something like that, but if that doesn't go right and they get around, it leaves our line in tatters. But yeah, I just want to see it. Seeing fucking level from both sides and just, I loved in that first game against the Dragons when Daniel Saluka feeder put his shoulder into Gula from the Dragons and he knocked on. Emery Gula. We then knocked on about 2 or 3 plays later. But just seeing that at the start, I want to see more of that aggression, physicality. Now my Braveheart speech is out of the way. Joey O'Neill's second week back in Cup, named at 14. I know Gus said they're easing him back in, but the club never does anything without a reason. Well, that's it. Well, you got Sexton there. Mitch Woods is the prodigy, and they're giving him a crack at 14. He come on, like you would have seen, he come on towards the end of the game. Just got a feel for it, passing the ball. I don't know. Look, I think Joey might get a training trial next year. I hope he does. I think he's good enough to keep toiling along, and watching him combine with the players on edges and watching him take on the line coming through, like he's done some good stuff. For me, it's just that defence. But comes on a 14, replaces Otakolo, usually has a break. I've liked Taniela playing in the 13 role as well, especially starting or coming off the bench. I think he's got a future, that guy. Yeah, but I think Joey, that might be a way to get him in there and harden up his defence, just getting him there, putting his head in the right spot, having the confidence to do the work, do the tackling. I think he copped a head knock, though, and I think it really knocked him around a bit. So they've sort of been a bit vague, like, he's had some injury setbacks. Well, but I think he's very valued by the club, and they will really want to help him make the most out of his career. And I think hopefully they keep him in the Bulldogs for another season at least, and give him another opportunity. But maybe to come off, play some hooker, get that defensive resolve, get that defensive confidence happening. Hopefully in a part of the game where, he doesn't have to really chase a scoreboard or influence too much, and just go out there and get to work. I think that would be the idea with it. There's enough quality in that New South Wales Cup side right now. With Satili Tupanua, Blake Taff, Drew Hutchison being really the only. I don't know where Turpin is. He must have got injured again, for fuck's sake. They're sort of the only players that are out at the moment. So, Snops there. Yo, Michael, your podcasts have been saving my sanity as a Bulldogs fan. That Galvin media circus was a bloody clown show, but I'm off that junk now. Up the doggies. Keep doing what you're doing. Mate, thank you so much, brother. If I could give you money for that, I would. Thanks, mate. I hope it's helped. As I've said many times, being a doggies fan, I just take it all in. If there's anyone involved, got to watch 100% footy because Phil Gould's with the Bulldogs. I watch NRL 360. You know why? Because Braith was a Bulldog. And I do like Gordy, even though everyone puts shit on Gordy. I've met the man. I like the man. He's a good man. Good person. He's a better human than all of them. Better than all of them, man. He doesn't give a fuck. He just loves his family. Likes to have a good time. Good person. Great person. Macca, hooker depth is very thin, as we've discussed. Not on contract next year, as far as I know. I remember Gus said halves academy won't just make great halves, but 6s and 9s, 13s too. Interesting. Well, that's the thing. Skillful players, versatile players that can attack, defend, who could sit there and plug a gap, fill a hole, contribute, add value, keep their career going. And, look, it must having these halves academies. So they're in there and they're doing all these drills together, all these, muscle memory drills. Learn how to kick the ball the same, knowing where the best spots on the field are to be, everything, how to see things from a different point of view, learning off each other while they're doing it. So that in itself just creates winning. It's just that sharing of great fucking information, and everyone's sort of working at the same role with the same goals. Learning that edge defense. The whole part of it. And then next minute you got a team with 3 players from the same academy in it, playing different positions. And who's to say we can't have some fullbacks come out of there as well? Cooper Cronk was a fullback. Darren Lockyer was a fullback. Cameron Munster was a fullback. Connor Tracy's a halfback as well, and a 6 and a 1. He could probably play 13 and 9 if you wanted him to. They've bought prototypes. So I think what your overarching point is there, Macca, is that Joey O'Neill's been put into that 14 for a reason. They're giving him an opportunity to get in there and do the stuff off the ball, not have to sort of be targeted by edge players, which is always harder. He can get in there, use his line speed, cut people down in the middle, and then the troops come in and finish him off, which is what Hayward's been doing. It's Marnie's been doing it his whole career. But what I want to see is we get a half that can do what Reid Marnie can do in defence, that can run the football, kick, defend on an edge, move laterally, have a short kicking game, long kicking game, in between kicking game. I don't want much. That's all I want. Anyway, people, I think we've covered enough here, but I will get the New South Wales Cup side, like I said I was going to about an hour ago, for us to have a look at. The whole side on here isn't named fully, but it's Tay Cochrane, Blake Wilson, Cassius Tia, Luke Smith, Jonathan Sewer, Mitch Woods, and Toby Sexton, which is the same back line. They might keep Jeff Throw at 19th man, and he may not play. If so Curtis steps up to prop. I had Sam Hughes there last week. Logan Spinks, who had a massive game. Grossomy. They've basically been our edge and doing well. And Spinks is getting better and better every single game. This fella goes good too, Louis Grossomy. They had a bad day the other day, though. Him, Woods, I think Hamish Wilson and someone else. Yeah, they really struggled. Luke Smith conceded about 8 or 9 tries against North. Next, come out a week later and absolutely smash it. Hamish Wilson went back to Jersey Flegg, had an absolutely great game in that grade. He's really big for that grade. He's got some size on him. But, yeah, they really struggled that day. Jack Todd starting at 13, which is great. He needs to do that. He's getting his residual back, averaging 135 metres a game in New South Wales Cup. You can take that up to another level. We've got DSF as well, obviously, and Joey O'Neill, Lipboy, Hopboy. You know, we're much better side when you got players like Hopboy, Lipboy, Hopboy, and Jack Underhill coming off the bench. And obviously, Jersey Flegg aren't playing this week, so I think it's important they keep these players like Wilson, even Tia, Smith, Sewer, Woods, Sexton, Moran, Fafita, and Todd. As these players have all played NRL, they've got to keep playing them. Obviously, Lipboy as well. Jack Underhill, not too far away. And then we'll probably get to bring maybe AJ Jones will have another game. Or they might bring in another utility type player. Could be Ruben Moyle's out, so I'm not sure what's happening with him. They may even bring back what's his name? Zion Ma'u, who played in Ron Massey on the weekend. They went all right. They lost, but they didn't go too bad. And our other side that won the week before, they went down as well, but in a really close, high-scorer match. So they're starting to do better for a team that's only won one game in the Moorebank Rams, which is in our Sydney Shield competition, which is like the 5th tier comp behind first grade. So there you go, guys. Anyone else got any stuff on here? Grossamy was South's Jersey Flag Player of the Year. He's been awesome. Is everyone coming to Allianz on Sunday? Who's going? Roosters got a fair cup side too. Would love to get this one. Yeah, we have to get it. They're 3 points in front of us. We get it. We reduce it to 1. We've got to get past them and get past, I think, Norths and Parramatta are the two sides we could possibly pass, but we're going to have to beat the Dragons and we're going to have to beat the Warriors to do it. It's not looking likely, but they can have some really good performances and have everyone just tuned to the minute, ready to step up and play footy. I do like Grossamy's work rate. He's been awesome in the club in both New South Wales and Ron Massey. Yeah, well, I think he's only played one Ron Massey. He's been, or maybe 2 at the most. He's pretty much been in the NRL side since he come. See, this Roosters side, not many people are too aware of the team. Reece Foley, Trey Penny, Ben Johnson, Junior Tupou. Toby Rodwell is New South Wales under-19 player. Obviously got Chad Townsend. Makahisi Makatoa is the brother of another Makatoa who was at the Bulldogs club. And he used to play for Para. And he was a first grader, fringe first grader. Ulu, Max McCarthy, Jake Elliott, very good. Hayden Barton, very good. Moriarty, Xavier Var, who I think might have even played NRL. The Sale, they must be brothers, the 2 Var brothers, and Aston Warwick. So, yeah, look, they're full of players that have played Jersey Flag finals, Harold Match Grand finals. Time to the minute. And there's quite a few of those players that were playing against Mitch Woods and Jack Todd and the like, Harry Hayes. They're now playing first grade for the Roosters in Faketi, or as the commentators say, Fakati, Faketi. He literally said fuck when he pronounced it. And I think he's probably the closest thing I've seen to a Sonny Bill Williams. But we won that match. We won that grand final. Look at these sides. 3.47 average play the ball. Very similar system to the Bulldogs, the Roosters. You know, they get New South Wales Cup sides. They've had feeder clubs that generally do all right. I think they were with North Sydney. They were with the Wallaroos for a while. You know, they haven't won too many comps, their reserve grade sides, but since they've gone to the Roosters and they're really got that Central Coast flavour now as well, they've been always tough to beat. And it's all about developing their kids to play NRL as much as we don't like them. Where am I? I'm not even on the screen. Here I am. I'm back. NRL World Women's Review. Oh, I might have to preview. Well, now you're really pushing it. But let's go. Let's do it. Just quickly. Be a 1 minute one. The Dogs will play the ladder leading Roosters. Well, at least I know a lot of these players. Jessica Sturgis, the New South Wales champion centre. Bridie Parker. Navidi got a good try against the Broncos on the weekend. Isabel Kelly, the captain. You know, Sturgis and Kelly, you know, typical Roosters have half of the origin side in their team. Corbin Baxter, another one. Jocelyn Keller. Keely Davis. They're all top class, been doing it. Olivia Koenig was the basically the Daly M winner last year for the Roosters. Oh, actually, I'm not even showing it, am I? I've got to bloody change things. Here we go. Share screen. Here we go. Sorry, people. Thanks, Macca, for getting me to include the ladies. And Shorten Burton, Macy Carley, Amber Hall, and Eliza Lopama. Now, look, The Roosters in the Harvey Norman women's, Tasha Gale and all that sort of stuff. Lisa Fiola's. They've always been really well. They actually had an Indigenous Tasha Gale side as well a couple of years ago. And they won the grand final against the Bulldogs. Both teams hadn't lost a game all year, and they just got us late in the grand final. We've done great in the Harvey Norman. Back when Harvey Norman wasn't at the same time as the women's NRLW, we had a fair few players from the NRLW in our side, like Tegan Taylor Preston. And I think we had the Cherrington sisters as well, who play for Para. But this girl, Annie Robinson, is like the Mick Potter of women's rugby league. What a comeback from her. Absolutely sensational ball runner. Love watching her play. Bridget Hoy. I heard a lot of the young guys like her. And Monica Tagoe, I'm pretty sure she made her debut last week. I think it was her debut last week. She did very well. A lot of these young girls, this is a big test for them. Like they're not expected to win this match. They may appear off the pace early, which they have in some games. Lovin Balecki on the wing. She just makes me laugh, but she goes good. Ashley Quinlan's doing a good job at 5'8", and Taylor Preston is the Steve Mortimer of the team. What else can you say? Doing her best to control things. Look, I felt that drop goal attempt on the second tackle with 90 seconds to go was a real stuff up, to be fair. But they'll learn from that. You know, if they play another 2 or 3 play the balls, get it a little bit closer and give her an easier shot, we get the field goal, we win that match. And we'd be 3-0. Instead, they get a 7-tackle set, then get a repeat set. And we were tired already with 10 to go. We were hanging on anyway, even though we got that try to get things tied up. So that was a big stuff up for us last week. But this side just beat the Broncos. The Broncos are a very good team this year as well. Just put some scores on some sides. These girls got out to a lead. Broncos come back. Then they got the late try. I think they won. I hope they did because I think they did. Yeah, they would have. Taranga Katoa's back after suspension after she slapped that other young lass from the West Tigers. Ebony Fry's a little goer. She started off the bench in her first game. She's been coming off the bench. So you've got Annika Wilson, Hope Millard, Shannon Maru, and another Hopewade. Pretty sure the sister of Lehigh. Holly, just an absolute workhorse. And Alexis Tournier, I think she got up like 200 metres last week. She came from the Dragons and was their player of the year. So 19 appearances, 4 tries. Average running metre is 210. She goes all right. Makes the tackles. She made 40 tackles last week. 192 running metres. Tackle efficiency of 94%. 5 offloads. She goes all right. 19 games, 4 tries. You'd have to say she goes all right, wouldn't you? What am I doing? So, look, Courtney, she's a real trier as well. I think Tagoe and Courtney are going to have a big job on their hands with Surgis and Kelly. They are powerful. They are strong. They're leaders of their sides. They've done it. they're Australian players, they're Origin players, and that's where the game's on. The thing about the Bulldogs, see, the Roosters have got a lot of young depth that's come through that has played at the highest level in the other lower grades against the Dogs. So they're aware of the Dogs' talent and know that the Dogs are sort of underrated in many ways. We've got a lot of fringe players into this side, a lot of experienced players that are sort of, doing the best they can. Alexis was a huge buy for us. But, Taranga Katoa and Tegan Demick, I feel Tegan's really warming into it. She was a bit off the pace struggled to get involved against Newcastle at the start in that game. But she's got better as it's gone along. But yeah, this is that Jasmine Strange. I think she scored a pretty good try on the weekend. But this, they just got it all over the park. The Roosters, they're going to be so hard to beat. It's going to take a hell of a defensive effort from the Bulldogs. They're going to have to get in there and scrap, and it's going to be up to these forwards to make it happen. Win the ruck, slow them down, and force these Rooster girls to sort of have to break us down. One-on-one sort of thing. But if they're able to get speed through the middle, it's going to be a bad day for our doggies girls, based on what I've seen. How's that for you, Mako? How's me preview for the ladies? Thanks, Mick. Guys, great to hear your views. Thanks, Lucas. I kept going though, brother. Roosters premiership favourites, big test for our girls. Oh, good man. Coach for Incumbent New South Wales Wynnum, Coach John Strange. Alexis Tournier came over from the Dragons. Mate, she's unbelievable. We'll have a look at some of her stats. Look, I didn't even read your stuff, and I did. It's like you channeling me, man. Like I can't see you. I couldn't see a message because I'm on the other screen looking at the screen I'm presenting. So that's hilarious. Actually did what you wanted me to do without knowing you wanted me to do it. How good has Andy Roberts been? I talked about her. Just giving myself a rap now on my telekinesis. Not to mention Andy Robertson and Cade Dykes, future Bulldogs power couple. Are they together, are they? Ebony Pryor goes all right too. 100% she does. Forgive my comment on Alexis. You covered it without me needing to ask. Yeah, well, there you go. It was a battle between her sister last week. It was. God, her sister was fired up. She put some massive hits on. We missed Teka last week. We sure did. And we love your preview, brother. Well, honestly, if I had to do that 3 weeks ago, I don't think it would have flowed as well, put it that way. And I wasn't prepared for that tonight. But hopefully the girls got to watch it and appreciate this lad here, right here. Honestly, if I ran at one of those ladies, even the fullback, she would leave me breathless with a shoulder into my ribs, you know what I mean? So what happened to Brian Dibb? He come on and said hi, but he didn't give me anything he didn't say anything. Must have went over to Elmo. Brian Dibb's not Dibbo, is it? It's not Dibbo from there. That's not him, is it? Surely not. I like Dibbo he's pretty good with the Dogs. Shit to his own club. We love it. This is called All Things Bulldogs after all. Thanks, brother. Great having you on. It was great seeing everyone tonight. I do have to go. I need to go and watch a show. Do something with me, loved one. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Got some good stuff coming up this week. Might do a little Steve Mortimer versus Mitch Woods highlight reel or something. See how that goes. And thanks to everyone who got a lot of appreciation for doing some New South Wales Cup stuff. Obviously, there's people who aren't on some of the other social media, so they're just using the YouTube, and really appreciated it. So I'll keep doing that as well and getting as much reserve grade stuff out there as well. I will too, bro. You have a great week, and I'll do something before Sunday, I'm sure. See you go, old fella. Great chat as usual. And thank you everyone who contributed. Thank you, D, for giving me the stats again. And that's it. Go the Dogs.